Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Peter Barber. I am primarily a professional opera singer, music producer, and a bass vocalist. And today, for the first time ever, we're going to be checking out Salma's performance of Love Me Like You Do on the Indonesian Idol 2023. This is a first-time reaction and analysis video, so I will be pausing primarily to talk about vocal technique as well as other musical and instrumental aspects that I see fit to comment on. With the ultimate goal of bringing you guys as much value and enhancing your learning experience as much as possible. And if you do find that I'm doing that, please do consider joining my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. It's the best way to support me. Otherwise, please do like this video. Please subscribe. Please leave a comment for the algorithm. Any comment works, does not matter. And lastly, another way to support me is to check out my merch store on Etsy, where you can buy hats, sweatshirts, sweatpants, aprons, coffee mugs, stickers, plenty of more things. That's another great way to support me if you choose to do so. But without further ado, let's dive in. Let's check out this performance.
Hey, Indonesian Idol! Are you ready?
Okay.
Let's go!
All right, something you might not even think about unless you watch my videos is you can already tell just from her getting the crowd hyped up that she has a super powerful upper chest voice, like that belt range that a lot of musical theater singers would adopt. It sounds to me like she's singing, up here around tenor high C, which is high for chest voice, even for a female artist. So you can tell just with her crowd hyping, she's got a really powerful belt and really good vocal fold closure, meaning during each oscillation of the vocal folds, they are together for the majority of the time, which creates what's called a high closed quotient. And a high closed quotient means a very efficient use of the air, and the sound itself has a lot of high harmonic content in it, meaning it has a lot of brightness and it has a lot of cut in the sound, and it also makes for a powerful sound. It's physiologically very, very similar to a yell. It's basically like a healthy version of yelling. Truthfully, that's what it is. So you can already get that right from the beginning. Aside from that, compared to the original song, which I'm familiar with, this is a much more hyped up version, right? The original is very electronic based, and of course this is all, if not live band, I don't know if we'll see the live band performing, but it is recorded with analog instruments like a brass section and real drums as opposed to samples and stuff like that.
Hey, Indonesian Idol! Are you ready? Let's go!
And the little head voice riff, so she is flipped up out of her chest voice, and then goes down and sustains a big B flat 4 in chest voice.
You're the light, you're the night, you're the color of my blood. You're the cure, you're the pain, you're the only thing I wanna touch. Only you can set my heart on fire. On fire.
There's so much here. So she's showing, okay, so what we got in that intro is like big, high chest voice, hype up the crowd. We can see she's a good belter. Now we're getting a much more intimate place in her voice, down closer to her speaking range. She's allowing more air, more breath to come through into the sound, creating a kind of intimacy and warmth in the sound. There's a few moments where she's using a bit of a growl technique, bringing in those false vocal folds to add kind of grit and turbulence to the sound. And overall, we're just getting a good insight into what her singing is like, much closer to her speaking range.
You're the light, you're the night, you're the color of my blood. You're the cure, you're the pain.
Little vocal fry, you're the cure, you're the pain.
You're the color of my blood. You're the cure, you're the pain.
Vocal fry.
You're the only thing I wanna touch. Only you can set my heart on fire.
You can. She uses that grittiness, that growl. You can set my heart on fire.
Only you can set
Just for that one
my
word.
heart on fire.
Oh, I like that. She goes, fire. Like really leans into that first note and then pulls it back and allows the vibrato to come in. On fire. It's a nice touch.
On fire. On fire. You're the fear, I don't care. 'Cause I'll never be so high.
Ooh, a little change in melody from the original there.
You're the fear, I don't care. 'Cause I'll never be so high. Follow me through the dark. Let me take you past the sights and light. You can see the road you broke to light.
Another vocal color from her, a much darker. You can set my, like darker, intentionally darker and rounder. You could tell her vowel positions got much more close as opposed to like a lot of that we're seeing, which is great for belting. Assuming she'll have some big belts later, I'm sure I'll talk about that. But we got if you can, like an intentional kind of like warm, sultry sound there. One thing I'll comment on is just as far as the engineering production side of this performance goes, the background parts and the instruments are like way overpowering. Like I would like to be hearing her much more clearly, but there are times when it's like getting a little bit assaulted in the ears and I can't hear as clearly what she's doing, at least in these headphones.
I don't care, 'cause I'll never be so high. Follow me through the dark. Let me take
Like
you
the brass just going haywire.
never be so high. Follow me through the dark. Let me take you past the sights and light. You can see the road you broke to light. So love me like you do. Love me like you do. Love me like
Okay.
you do. Love me like you do.
So a total shift from that first verse, right? We're now into the first chorus. And all the drums are gone and the brass section's gone. So it's a much kind of more stripped down section here, a lot less action.
Love me like you do. Love me like you do. Touch me like you do. Touch me like you do. Hey, what are you waiting for? Fading in, fading out. All the edge of paradise. Every inch of your skin is the holy grail I've found so fine.
Hey, there we go. So a nice run, ascension up to a big high C, tenor high C belt there. The brass, I love the brass. The brass section's absolutely killing it. They sound phenomenal. They're just a little too loud in the mix. Ascension.
Of your skin is the holy grail I've found so fine. Woo!
Big mouth. You really want that. You want that in high belt range, especially precisely right around that tenor high C, that C5. Literally based on physiology and physics of how the sound moves through the vocal tract, it helps produce that tone to have an open position, a big open mouth position. So she's got that, whether she's thought about that or not, she's doing it perfectly.
Only you can say
Actually, let's go back so you guys can see that.
I've found so fine.
Yeah.
Woo! Only you can set my heart.
A little more grit on the only you.
Dice every inch of your skin is the holy grail I've found so fine. Woo! Only you can set my heart on fire.
Fire. Little riff right around that F4 there.
I like to set the pace, 'cause all I think is right.
Oh wait, I didn't go back for you guys. Sorry about that.
You can set my heart on fire.
There it is.
I like to set the pace, 'cause all I think is right.
The background voices are also too hot. So this is cool. We're getting a nice we're getting a nice look at how she approaches these register shifts. She goes up to that high E flat 5 in a head voice, and then the next notes going down are all chest voice, and the same thing happens again. And it's lighter, and it's using a thinner part of the vocal folds, really the edges, the mucosal membranes of the vocal folds are vibrating up there. And unless you specifically train that part of your range like you do as an opera singer, that's primarily where female voice types operate in opera, it's going to be weaker and breathier than the rest, than like a high chest voice. So you can tell she pops up there and more air comes through because those vocal folds are just not as well trained in that mechanism. So she goes up into the head voice for a second. It's a little breathy, right? And then down into her chest voice, like the vocal folds go whoop, right back together, and you get this super pure, efficient, powerful tone. And a nice little riff right at the end of that phrase there as well. Right? All right, so that's something I love pointing out. So like I said a minute ago, it's better to have a big open mouth position in those high belts. And she just saying the words no more, right? More. And her vowel was literally no ma, like a totally open ah. And this is a totally reasonable thing to do because when you're singing, you want to opt for the best sound possible singing because people care way more about that than they do about if you're doing the perfect vowel or not. So instead of going no more, she's going no ma, and it's just opening up the voice and allowing for a big belt on that pitch, and no one gives a shit about the vowel if it sounds good. And if it sounded bad, but the vowel was perfect, it'd be like, cool, you had a nice vowel, but it sounded bad. Like, give us the good sounding note with the wonky vowel, and we'll all be happy. Watch this. That is not a no more vowel position. That is, I'm going to belt the shit out of this. Ah! Yeah, perfect. And that was a fully chest connected high E flat, which we haven't heard yet. What? Just for a split second, but definitely still connected to her chest voice. Love a good riff. Always going to comment on the little tasteful riffs. So now we've got the repeat of the chorus, and it's a totally different vibe, right? That first chorus was like totally stripped down, no drums, no brass, very calm. This repeat, much more like, obviously they're going towards the climax of the song. So the whole team is operating right now. Oh, okay, like a little scat style action. Actually, fun fact, I was in a jazz singing group in high school. I was like the main thing I did as a singer in high school. And I was with this girl named Veronica Swift was in the group, and she has remained a very close friend of mine, and she is actually a very, very successful, famous jazz singer now. Veronica Swift, look her up. She is, I swear, one of the best singers on the planet, and just an amazing artist and a great friend of mine. And really, in that group, scatting was one of the only things I could do kind of well. Scatting, I could kind of sing low notes, but I really wasn't an actual bass back then. I was really like a baritone, so I really struggled to sing like a real low notes. Thankfully, that's changed. But scatting and like a little bit of vocal percussion and kind of singing bass was like all I could really do for that group. But she was just like an ace. She's been an ace forever. She's always been a phenomenal singer. Anyway, little bit of scatting here. So that's cool to see. I wonder where that goes.
Love me like you do, touch me like you do, touch me like you do, baby. What are you waiting for?
Hey, okay. Proper scat. I love it when the scats actually line up perfectly with the melody happening in the instrumentation. Like all the way up and down doing the same notes. It's like parallel riffing. It's just a really cool effect.
Touch me like you do, touch me like you do, baby. What are you waiting for?
And she goes into her head voice right at the top there. Because it gets all the way up to an F5, which is outrageously high for pure chest voice. So she flips at some point on the way up. Oh. They can't handle it. I can't handle it. So again, bring it back to a more intimate place, and I'm guessing they're going to come back with a bang and finish it up. That's my prediction. There's that fa. Just open it up, baby. And that actually is very similar to how Ellie Goulding does it in the original, where what are you waiting for? And then finally resolves it down. So that's just a what? So we're in A flat major, so that's just holding that second there, suspended second, and then resolving it. High C's. Oh, there. Okay, all the way up for sure. E flat to pure chest connection there. E flat 5. Hell yeah, dude. So good. So good. Wow. What an awesome arrangement, and what a fun video to analyze. Salma does so many great things vocally, just like vocal range, vocal colors, use of the grit, the scatting, the intimate singing, the big belting, just like very versatile. And I think we got a really good idea about what her voice can do well in this performance, which you don't always get in like a 3-minute performance. The arrangement itself, super cool. You know, the original was all like electronic elements. Ellie Goulding got in with like Bass Nectar and other EDM artists, so very electronic based in her original, and this is all like a lot of the big live band version, so it's a totally different groove, different vibe. A lot of fun, great choreography, all around just a fantastic performance. Thoroughly enjoyed this. Hope you guys enjoyed watching with me. I hope you learned something. I hope I enhanced your listening experience and your appreciation of this awesome artist. And if I did, please do consider joining my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. It's the best way to support me. Otherwise, check out my merch on Etsy. Everything's in the description below. And please like, subscribe, leave a comment for the algorithm. Could be anything you want in that comment. And hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you learned something. I will see you in the next one. Peace.